Well, hello and welcome back to Alpha 10X. This is part 3 of this small series of episodes of this front-end rebuild of my Alfa 1972 GTV Series 105. In the last episode, you saw me cut away the radiator surround and some of this material that was down here, rusting away after quite a few years of neglect. So I've gone ahead and applied some zinc galv spray to these exposed areas. Almost instantly, the moisture in the air will start to corrode the exposed steelwork. So this is for protection against any further rust. It is possible to weld through the galv spray, although when I do come to it, I shall probably end up just sanding it back anyway. Looking closer at the area that we're going to be concentrating on, this driver's side done first, the right hand side of the car. Build up from this leg that comes this way. So I've got an anti-roll bar bracket, a replacement, and this is going to fit in there. So the anti-roll bar bushes fit under here, and the anti-roll bar will go across. I'm in two minds whether to take it straight back to the back and replace the whole section, although the material is really quite good underneath here. You can't quite see it's off camera. So I might end up cutting it and then just replacing the front section of it to fit into here. You can see there are some holes here where the spot welds held on the last one. So when the car is put together in factory, spot welds are placed along here. I shall use those holes to weld in there. It is possible to make holes on the inside and then come under the spot weld, but also end up probably doing a seam weld along the back here as well. So in this episode, I do need to refit the anti-roll bar. So it will fit somewhere like that. So I know where to weld this into position under here. I'm fortunate enough to still have the anti-roll bar brackets, although one of them was quite severely misshapen. And now I've managed to get them back to a similar profile at least. So they're both matching now. I've sanded these back and galv sprayed these just to protect any further corrosion. But it is possible to buy these off the shelf, although there's no real need to, because these will get painted. You could even powder coat them, be even better. I'm going to use some hammerite to paint these. As always, please remember to like and subscribe, and I thank you for watching all the videos that I produce on this Alpha. You've just seen me install the anti-roll bar. In a minute I'm going to be raising it to the correct height. I can now offer up the new anti-roll bar bracket. So it'll sit somewhere like there. I'll patch in a piece here. This will have to go up higher, but as I've got half of the existing anti-roll bar bracket in place, this is good material. I don't want to cut this out if I don't have to. So what I'm looking to do is cut here at the defined measurement and then weld this in on the back here, down the side, and then weld it across the front here. And afterwards I'll make a side plate to go in here and patch up. My problem is now that I have to find the right location for the anti-roll bar. So the bracket will fit somewhere like this. I've got to make sure that I weld the anti-roll bar bracket in the correct position and at the correct angle, so that when the anti-roll bar does meet up with the bush and the bracket, fit something like this. This is not an original anti-roll bar, it's actually an Alfaholics one, and it's 29mm. I do have these poly bushes which are actually 29mm. They are compatible with the anti-roll bar itself. This is an image of the bracket before it's been cut and where I need to weld. And here we go. So I've now cut the bracket. I've taken about 12 centimeters off the end of it, and now I'm tacking it in place. Quite difficult to be under the car here and lying on my back, making sure the sparks don't go in my face. And from the top side, just inside the panel, I'll tidy this all up afterwards. I'm up to a stage now where I've just tack welded the anti-roll bar bracket, so it's tacked here, tacked on the inside and round the back here as well. And now I've removed the support that was holding up my anti-roll bar in place, and it's actually supporting the anti-roll bar just with those tacks. Here is my cardboard template. You can see that I need to cut out a little bit more material along here. I may not go completely up here, just maybe cut down here, so it's underneath this recess along this line here, and then up here somewhere. I should modify that. But now I've got this in position, I'm using this profile in here as my cardboard template. I've got a return here which will allow some strength, and then this will be the sort of similar to the final shape. I think I need to trim this back eventually when the valance goes in. Anyway, so there's my cardboard template. I need to transfer that onto the metal now, so I'll do that. I've got here a sheet of 0.75mm thick steel. It has got a polythene protection on it at the moment, but I'm just offering up again the cardboard cutout, just double checking my lines in the shape that I want to cut. There's my shape that I want to come down here, something along there. In fact, I'll cut that out now with some scissors. Just transfer that profile onto here. I'm going to come along there. I can trim this afterwards. There's no harm going bigger to begin with, and then go smaller. And there we have it. So there is my metal piece, a fillet that I need to now cut out. I'm going to be using a diamond cut saw on the end of a drill, because actually at the moment my grinder is not working. So to trim this off down here, I'm just using some metal shears, and they work a treat on this thickness of steel. I can just take a little bit off at a time, and it comes off in one big curl. Offer it up onto the car, back into position, to see if I need to take any more. And there we go, there's the result. Piece that I can now weld under here, weld along the bottom, inside here, and on the top, and then a nice clean weld along here. This will be trimmed off when the valance is fitted. I've gone again oversize here, so I can then just trim it off with my metal shears. You just want me to cut away the remaining of this bit of material in here. This is the existing piece of inner arch, and then eventually they will go in here with my new piece of metal that I've cut out. I'll trim this up slightly just so it fits the gap, and then we'll weld it in. Back in there with a MIG welder. So this is a butt joint fillet, so I'm just tacking it in place. Don't want to put too much heat into the panel, otherwise I will get distortion. Just enough to tack it in place for now, and then we'll fill in the gaps later on. I haven't done a lot of welding, and this is a big learning curve for me, so I'm open to feedback. Next step you see now is out with the belt grinder just to take off those welds. And now we're drawing attention to the other side of the panel, which is a bit of cardboard engineering actually. So here we go again, marking up and cutting out to shape a little fillet here. So we've got there were two returns. We've got a 90 degree and to another 90 degrees. So there's a flap that's going to be welded, and I'm just drawing out where the crease marks are going to be. I'm now transferring that cardboard template out onto the steel and cut it out now, just offering up into position there first time round, and now we're going to start trimming with the metal shears and then filing off those burrs all round. We're now into the vise. I'm using a hammer just to bend that initially over to make my 90 degree corner here, just offering it up, and then we're going to measure the distance for the final return, which is the opposite 90 degrees. That will allow me to then spot weld that return edge onto the first metal piece that we welded in this video. So final few tacks now, and then a small adjustment with the hammer and a pan around to have a look at the work we've achieved today. I will be welding up the rest of the panel and then grinding back the welds to make it nice and flush. So I think I'll call this an episode now. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a couple of days out in the sunshine. Now the weather's getting better. Here's a little taster for the next episode that'll be coming soon.